back from that short break, and don't forget that this beautiful place is called Coffee City. It is located here in Intinda, just right after INEB. So before I went for the break, our professor had introduced something very crucial, multitasking. You're going to help us understand what it means to multitask, because so many people out there might actually want to do this. Someone might actually want to be like you, still have their formal employment as well as try out entrepreneurship.
Okay, thank you so much. So in simple terms, when we talk about, multitasking is a word that I've just put together, but I'm just using it to represent if someone is at work, they have a formal job, but they still would like to do something on the side. And I mean, we strongly encourage that. Why are we strongly encouraging that? If you notice, employment, as we've been talking about entrepreneurship, said it's glamorous, but one of the things we still missed there that Sharon I hope she would have talked about is that you decide what profit you want to earn. I mean, you also decide how much money you want to take out of the business, which is never the case in employment. I mean, even if I make for my boss $1 billion shillings, yes, he's free to pay me 500,000.
It's not your money.
It is not my money. That is his money. So he'll choose to pay me the 500,000 that I signed for as part of my contract. And this is not the case when you're in entrepreneurship. So personally, this is not something that I'm just talking about. It is something I've done for the last 20 years. I've been out of university and in employment. I told myself from the onset that I studied business skilling, and I equally studied entrepreneurship, and I needed to put this into practice because I believed in employment I'm able to serve, I'm able to make contribution to an already existent enterprise and I mean grow the bigger good. But in entrepreneurship, I'm able to do, as we've put it in 3 things, something that I love, something that I feel I have the skill, and something that I feel is going to also make my contribution to the world. Because even the Bible tells us that, I mean, we are co-creators with the Lord. Yep. So if we are co-creators, how do you fold your hands and say, me, I'm just going to be a secretary, or I'm going to be an administrator, or I'm going to be an accountant,
all my life,
and all I'll do that the entire life that God has given me?
Oh,
no,
my God.
you can do something on the side. So how do I do it? One, you have to look at your work schedule. Most of the work schedules have 8 hours of work. So the question is, the day on a normal has 24 hours, day and night. So what do you do with 24 minus 8 hours? Do you just sleep them away? I like speaking this to the young people. I always tell them, do you want to sleep this away? They say, no, madam, we will go and watch movies. And I'm like, so what after watching movies?
Young people have a term these days they call kusimbula. So after work, I have to kusimbula.
What does kusimbula? Okay, I'm so not very trendy. What does kusimbula mean?
Kusimbula means going out to have fun, like coming over here to Coffee City and just
so I mean, that is what you love, isn't it? You love to kusimbula. So create an environment where people actually come to kusimbula from, isn't it? Yeah. Why do you have to go to other people's places? I mean, I've been challenging my counterparts who like to hang at bars, and I go like, so for the last 20 years you've actually been at someone else's bar. What if you open your own bar and let people actually come and drink your own beer and you make profit out of them? That's what you love, isn't it? So you can actually do it. All these cars you see parked by the roadside, they are from work, because most of them are even government cars, isn't it? Yeah. So why do you give other people the pleasure of making money off you?
And you just giving them all the time.
And you're just giving them all the time.
It's not good. It's not good for business.
Other people's dreams while you don't have a dream.
Yeah.
Do you realize so many young people, so many females don't have a dream?
Yes.
Straight from campus, university, most of our parents, what they're going to look for, is she employed somewhere? Okay, that is done. She's getting a minimum 500,000. Now, where is the man? So I think we are socialized not to be big dreamers as women, but that is something we are fighting
to change.
Yeah, to change.
But you see, even as we think about that, and I mean, this goes out to parents. I'm a parent also of children who are becoming teenagers soon. And I mean, one of the empowerments I've given my children, even when they were as little as 6, is that everyone must do something. They are on holiday this holiday, and as part of their holiday package, for example, one of them is into pizzeria. she's doing pizzas for the entire neighborhood, isn't it? Yes, I mean, she has to make her shopping. You get it? And then the other one is into rabbitary. I mean, they do this, and every week I will say, if we are to buy a rabbit from you, how much? So he keeps that money for himself. You get it? So in a way, I want parents to know that girls are not supposed to be conditioned to be receivers, and are not supposed to be conditioned to be the least. We actually supposed to be at the top, on the contrary.
Exactly.
Because we are actually strong. I'm not saying we are stronger than the men, please don't get me wrong. Because it is not a competition, because God has given us complementary rights, complementary bodies, isn't it? So let us strive to strengthen each of them, not looking at them from the way you have put it, that they are ticking off. Small job, tick off.
Yes.
Man, tick off. That's not success.
After man, children tick off.
I think when you talk about parents, this is how we were brought up when we were growing. I think parents nowadays are trying to change the whole idea. When you give birth to a girl child and you put them in school, and after school you tell them, you know what, after school you're going to go and get a job in a bank as a teller, and after like two years or 1 year of your job, you find a man and get married. That should be that thing should be changed. Parents should start, if you want your child to be successful, start from home. Give them something to do. Tell them that they're not supposed to get they're not supposed to get everything they want, whereby they have not earned it. Me, I always talk to my boys at home when they say, it's like, Mommy, I want to go out and with my friends and do this and contribute on my friend's birthday. I tell them, what have you done for me? You go to my closet, whatever my shoes, arrange them very, very well, and then after that, I'm going to pay you a little something. Maybe you can use that to do something that you want. So I always teach them that you don't get things for free. You have to work. If you want something, you have to work for it. So it starts from home. If our parents had helped us earlier on and told us, you know what, Sharon, if this is what you want to do, this is what you have to do, and give us the guidelines in life on how we are going to live our lives, how to become entrepreneurs. But you give birth to a child and you tell them, go to school, and when you're done with school, look for a man and get married. And after you get married and you become a problem at home. You cannot put anything on the table.
No, you actually become problems to the men.
Yes, you become a problem.
You're problems to the men.
You start saying, hey, I need this, my mother lost so and so, we have to go. The man
Money for Christmas.
they get scared of even coming back home. It's like, this woman has bills all over. Like, when I go back home, what can you solve as a woman? Do something. Be innovative.
I love the way you're raising your children, because something that
they don't get things for free. Yes. They have to work for them. Even if they need a new shoe, I tell them, what have you done for me? You want me to buy you a shoe? What have you done? Have you done your homework? Have you passed your exams? Have you done this? Is the house tidy? Have you looked after your wardrobe? Do you lay your bed? Do you brush in time? Do you do this? You have to do something for me. So I want to instill something in their heads that you don't get something that you've not worked for. You have to work to earn.
Our generation right now, I can say people within our age range, 20s, early 30s, we didn't get that style of growing up while you can manage your finances. So even when someone attempts to start a business, you find that you can't manage your finances, you can't plan. Let me say you get an abnormal profit. You fail to plan for it and misuse it. So if parents can start doing that and helping kids have that financial literacy, I think the future of entrepreneurship in Uganda can be very bright.
But to just add on something small, but also to pick on what she had tried to introduce, she said you need to be innovative, right? This morning while I came for this show, I came with this pin. Have you seen? I don't know if the cameras can capture it. It is written on the innovative woman, isn't it? That is what is there, and that is one of the things that I stand for. This is a pin that I make every year for myself, to remind me and my daughter, to remind us of doing something new.
Wow.
Now this is something new. So remember when we began, we said that entrepreneurship was doing something with a business orientation, isn't it? But now, how do I sustain myself in business? How do I sustain myself as an entrepreneur? As I mentioned, there are so many changing seasons. When we began originally, for example, I mean, there were certain things that women never put on in regard to dressing up, isn't it?
Yeah.
So as a woman in business, you need to keep up with your trends of what your customer wants, isn't it?
Yes.
If you're static with the old model, you're not going to have any business moving forward. You get me?
Yes.
However good you are, however tight you are, but the question is, what new am I doing in order to keep my business? That is the element of innovation. How new? What are the new processes I'm bringing in place that are simplifying how maybe my customers are buying, keeping them up to date with the trends globally, keeping them up to date with savings, keeping them up to date with how they can make payments, keeping them up to date with many things. We call that innovation.
Yeah.
Now, that a couple of issues that actually have caused a couple of entrepreneurial ventures to close is because of that lack of innovation spirit. So every entrepreneur out there, especially women, continuously don't settle from where you began. Keep adding, keep doing something extra, keep doing something new in regard to the trends that your customer wants, and you'll be very successful. But as you do that, now back to your question that you were saying that us in our 20s, now me, I'm no longer in the 20s. I'm actually closing my 30s soon, isn't it? So I actually count myself already crossed over to the 40s, though I'm still in 30s, isn't it? But the thing is that in this new generation, isn't it, there are so many changes, but equally, there are also so many pluses. And the one plus that is there is that you have all this knowledge, you have all this information. Our times, this information was not accessible, isn't it? It wasn't, we were not privy to this kind of information. So now that you have this information, even if you don't have, some of you are still in that information asymmetry, if I may use that terminology. You're still short of information. You're not short of information because the information is not there. You're short of information because you don't have that drive to go out and get that information, isn't it? So is it time that you start challenging yourself? Could maybe Smart 24 be the forum where you're saying, I want to future young entrepreneurship? Send out word to schools, isn't it? Because now we are lucky post-COVID, schools have opened up and these are convergency places for youth, isn't it? I want to reach out to the youth and challenge them. What new thing are you doing out there? Start now. That's the other issue. Business is not about age. I mean, I have seen that my children follow some child, I think, who started like at 4 years, and she runs this YouTube channel of doing a couple of things. I mean, I can't even explain because I know they have so much interest. I think they're called like mini moisturizer toys, isn't it? And the child is like 6 years, isn't it? So for me, I feel it's not about the age. It's about, it is now, isn't it? Start now. Do something, whether you're in school, whether you're at home, whether you're in office, whether you're in government, whether you're where. Because the world is full of so many opportunities.
Wow, at some point it seemed like a lecture to me, but we really appreciate that knowledge. Most of us don't get the time or the opportunity to listen to encouraging words. When we get our phones, all we do is jump to the site we are very familiar with, that Instagram. But we also took this conversation to the streets. We happened to ask a few gentlemen what they think about entrepreneurship being glamorous and what they think entrepreneurs need to do better to inspire other young and upcoming entrepreneurs.
Women have to utilize opportunities given by banks, maybe soft loans. I have heard of Uganda Development Bank, but people there deep down in the villages, maybe they don't know about this and they don't know that they can acquire loans. It is not that every time you will always develop from your hard-earned cash. No, you can, if there is an opportunity for you to invest using borrowed money, it is okay. And women are becoming a pillar of our economies because they are the number one people involved in agriculture. They are people who who have taken so much concern in identifying societal problems.
You've heard what the gentlemen have to say about this particular topic. You know, we don't want to only dwell on knowledge from women, because as much as it is women in business, we need a contribution from our males. We need to coexist peacefully in this business world and our normal lives as well. So at this point in time, we are going to briefly talk about the challenges that any entrepreneur or someone that is striving to start an entrepreneurship venture should be ready to face, and how they hope to go about these challenges.
Okay, the challenges that young entrepreneurs face at the early stages are the small startup capital. Me personally, I from the things that I do, I did not start with a lot of money. Now, every time someone does not have enough capital to do what they want, to execute, to do what they feel, you can have a lot of things in your head, but the finances, that is number one. Small startup capital, and sometimes lack of support from your family members. I can want to wake up and do something as a married woman, and my husband does not support me. Or I have to wake up very early in the morning, and sometimes I don't do breakfast, and then he will look at me, will not understand, why hasn't she done breakfast? Why hasn't she done? Why is she up at 5? So I have to be 5 on the road to go drive my van, pick up my cleaners, drop them where I'm supposed to drop them. And if you don't have someone that is supportive at home, it's going to affect you, because you have to have a supporting system. Starting from home. Like, if you might not be married, you might be still staying at home and you want to be an entrepreneur. Still, same applies to parents. If you don't support your child to be an entrepreneur, and you always discourage them, you always tell them you're not there yet, that is not enough money to execute what you want to do. It's something that affects people big time. Small startup capital, lack of support from your spouse, your family, and also lack of business education, like whatever you want to do. If you're not educated about it, if you don't seek knowledge and do research about what you're going to venture into, it can affect you as well.
Yeah, I think when you lack knowledge about what you plan to do, that is when you find people who are settling for mediocrity. You do something and then it becomes a little successful, and then you settle for that. Madam Professor.
Okay. Thank you so much. To add on what Sharon is saying, thank you so much, by the way, for moderating the program. Thank you. So for me, I want to add something else. There's what we call lack of starting capital, but also there's what we call lack of knowing where to pick the capital from. So actually, capital friends is there. Women in business, capital is there. I happen to actually be a financial consultant, and one of the things that I do, I advise on capitalization. How do I capitalize my business? Myself, I run a couple of very small but meaningful and very impactful businesses, isn't it? So how do I finance? Networks can finance a business. One of the things that has happened...
You need to tell us more about that. Yeah.
One of the things that has happened in the life of most women is that instead of being a support structure, we actually tear apart ourselves. You sit with a group of women, one is a banker, and her role is actually to extend credit. Another one is an officer who has made a deal, has money on her account, which she cannot even invest because she doesn't have the time, isn't it?
Yes.
And then you meet an idler like me, who has the ideas, but I don't have the capital, isn't it?
To execute.
To execute.
Yeah.
What is wrong with you? Use a legal arrangement, execute a contract where I implement my business, isn't it, that I've come up with your money that is idle, and we share proceeds at the end of the day. You see, in Europe, they have something called a joint venture. I've done entrepreneurship and innovation for quite some time. And recently, I was at a certain farm in Sweden. It's called Vinnova. And I actually spent a month there. like trying to learn how these people are dissecting this whole financing portfolio for actually their SMEs, not even their medium enterprises, but actually their small scale and micro enterprises. And one of the things that stood up firm for them is that these people can actually give you money that you can invest for quite some time. And even at Vinova, they actually have these procedures that I'm telling you about, where people who have a lot of money on their accounts have no time to invest. Put this money there. These people, they are all these micro firms that they have been working with and training, who come and take these funds, and then Vinova works with them to make sure that they go through the entire process of business management and business processes. At the end of the day, if they make profit, it is shared and it benefits the investor. You get it? But in Uganda, this is an African problem. One, we have a problem of trust.
Yeah,
Two,
that's
we
very
have a
big
problem
one.
of honesty. Three, we have a problem, as I called it, the myopic tendency. When someone opens you up to such an opportunity, you, instead of looking at how you can grow this, you look for ways of how can I steal this.
So maybe before we forget something there, right there where you were, most Ugandans don't know that it is okay. When you have an idea, when I have an idea, like you've just said that you can have, it is networking and friends and what. If you have a friend that is a banker, you've just said if you have a friend that is a banker and Sharon comes in with an idea and the other one comes in as a financial advisor or something, it is good to share ideas. When I don't have money to execute, when I don't have the finances to execute, Ugandans should know that it's good to pick up partners. It is okay if I don't have the money and I have a good idea. I can come to you, doctor, and I tell you, you know what, I have an idea, we can be partners, and both of us. It doesn't take away the fact that I've not brought in an idea. I am not an entrepreneur by sharing with you my idea, and we become business partners. Instead of an idea to let an idea die, you're better off sharing it with somebody and both of you benefit.
I think most women or even men are scared that, let me say in Uganda, because I haven't been to very many African countries, when you share your idea with someone, they're scared the person is going to take it up and steal it. Just like, let me say, in the TV business.
People should run to trust.
Let me put a provision for that, for protecting your idea. In Uganda, we have something what we call the Uganda Registration, Services Bureau, where we get to register our intellectual properties. If I have my idea, you get it. For example, one of the business ideas that I've developed over time, which I sell, I call it the DECFA. It is the Decision Enhancement Credit Facilitation Approach. This is an IT, call it a digital forum that supports circles in Uganda. And currently it's being used by over 500 persons. You get it? So before I pass on my digital platform to the users, we get into writing, isn't it? And I go like, this is patented by Ahabiona Faith. You get it? No one can take that right from me. So if you take it and personalize it, we go legal. You understand?
Doctor, I want to pose a question. I want to pose a question there. How about if you look at somebody who is just starting up a business, they cannot go for a credit facility in the bank, they don't have money to go to a lawyer to do all the necessary documents to protect them. I am just at home and I want to start doing my liquid soap and I start supplying it. First of all, I only have money to buy the chemicals for the liquid soap and the jerry cans and everywhere, and I have a small space at home. And then I go to my sister here and I tell her, you know what, this is what I have and this is what I am missing. So if you want to come in and we be partners, that is where trust comes in. Sometimes you have to trust before you get there. Before you get there to go to you're able to go to the bank to get a bank facility, a loan facility, or to go and register with a lawyer, because all that comes with money and charges. You have to have trust. Those people have to have trust and believe in God. You pray. You put it before God. That is when I run to God. That is when I run to God and I'm like, God, I am going to do this with this person, and please let this person be good to me. like even before you go to that person, let God give you the right person to work with before you're up there. Like, God, I'm looking for a business partner, but please provide someone that's not going to hurt me, that is not going to steal my idea, someone is not going to steal from me. That is where prayer comes in. You have to pray before you do these all things.
And on top of the trust and all that, I think the biggest part of being an entrepreneur is being a risk taker. Sometimes you have to be able to take that measurable risk.
Because if you don't take the risk, you're not going to get nowhere. You can't get nowhere if you don't risk. And that is where the trust comes in. You have to trust. If you get hurt, if someone takes your idea, you come up with another one. Yeah,
because or you still develop it and compete.
Exactly, because you cannot. We are so many cleaning companies in Uganda. Me, I'm not scared because the best cleaning company I think in Uganda, they are Kenyans, and when I look at that company, they motivated me. I'm like, these are Kenyans. I'm a Ugandan, so I can do it. This is my country. So I look up to them, and I'm like, there is space for everybody. So you stealing my idea doesn't mean I can even leave you with the name and go and come up with another name, and I still make it.
And work so hard to even be better than that.
Yeah. May I say something actually in that regard? You raised a question to me.
Yes,
I don't want to
don't miss. Yeah.
So I don't want to miss it. And the question was, I don't have the money yet.
Yes.
I can't borrow. I don't belong to any savings group.
Yes.
Isn't it? What do I do? How do I trust? Isn't it? This goes back to my networking. Women, can you please get out of those cocoons called houses? I know there's this mentality of, I mean, this is one of those stereotypes. If my wife gets out of this house, she will learn bad manners. No,
don't talk to the men.
Exactly.
Talk to the men. That is not on us.
We are not going to learn bad manners. When we step out, we will interact genuinely. And I mean, my friends out there know who I am.
Yeah.
I know how to interact genuinely. Genuinely with men, genuinely with women. And my interaction, what I call genuine interaction, this is when you're building lasting networks, isn't it?
Yes.
If you have a lasting network and this person knows how genuine you are, you'll also be able to gauge. I mean, you're not going to approach any crook and say, let's take this risk together. No, you'll be able to know this person has a belonging. They have a referral, isn't it?
Yeah.
I am sure they are not quacks, but I mean, the heart of mind is very deceitful. Anytime someone can switch and be,
someone can change,
isn't it?
And develop a little jealousy.
Exactly. That's okay, but at least you'd have, again, what we said from the beginning, you will have made your first step. You get it? I wanted to share with you a little story of one of the little businesses that I do. And I mean, this is for my community, and I will not tell you where my community is, just know it's very far out of town. So in my community, we're actually beekeepers. During COVID, they motivated me to be a beekeeper. I decided to plant over 50 beehives, and at my home, because I have a little forest. So when I planted these beehives, my beehives, I mean, they won't have honey all the time, and they won't have the honey products that we sell all the time. But my community, because they know that is my address, I go to them and I say, I want to take all your honey, even before you process it. You get it? But I don't have the money to pay you upfront. Even if it's 4-6 months, I still make it up to them and make sure I make the payment.
Sure.
So this keeps one of my tiny businesses running.
That is where the trust comes in from, because they trust you and it.
I will not run away. And also I put it myself because I know this is a community-based project. So I will try as much as possible to try and support back. You get it? So people get out of the cocoons. Women get out of the cocoons, go interact. And interact genuinely. And in that interaction, do not seek for favors. Portray the opportunities that you can actually table and let people approach you, interact with you from the angle of business and not from any other angle.
Thank you so much, Professor. Unfortunately, our time is running out. But one of the main things I've picked, especially from this last part, is don't seek favors. Women, we are fond of seeking favors. We are fond of having that sympathy thought, especially from men. And in the end, we get taken advantage of. So as we conclude, everyone, like 1 minute, Our closing remarks, especially to the women entrepreneurs, even those having that dream of one day being an entrepreneur.
You can start.
I think before you do something, before you venture into something, you need to find out something that you love. You have to look out for something that you love doing. First of all, you have love for. And as women, I would say you put God first, pray about everything. And then if you pray about everything, tell God to guide you. Have a trusted mentor in business. You have someone to talk to. Do networking, like she said, get out of that cocoon. And then try out things. There is space for everybody. There is space for everything. So every woman out there, there is a space for you.
Wow, thank you for that submission.
Okay, thank you, moderator, and thank you, Sharon. It's exciting to be on this show with you this morning.
Thank you.
For me, there are two issues that every woman needs to carry on their heart. You are already victorious even before you begin.
Yeah.
What awaits you is to put your first foot in the front and just begin.
Start.
From the start, you are already a winner.
Yeah.
Do not condition yourself to a time period of success where you see profits. In business and in entrepreneurship, what we consider success is when you fall and you're able to stand again. When you fall and you're able to stand again. With that mentality, with God first, you will honestly make it. Do not condition yourself that I must be a winner from the onset. No. And winning is not about profit. It's staying there in business. All these big enterprises you hear about have taken generations to actually be who they are.
Yeah.
I mean, if we had time, I would recommend that each of us, I mean, women out there, especially on this show, you can watch the Gucci story. You'll be amazed about how they've grown up. Go and watch the ladies, Serena Williams and the sister, how they actually been able to make it to the top. I mean, that's their business, isn't it?
Yep.
So each of us has that one thing in us that the Lord has put in us.
True.
And it's time for you to go out there
And discover it.
Sitting in the house, conditioning yourself to a mentality of receiving will not make you an entrepreneurship. And you actually don't need to go to class. Even this coming from a professor of business, I know it's quite contradictory, but you don't need to be in a formal class to learn business.
Yeah.
You can learn by seeing what everyone else has done. All you need is to build that spirit within you to say, I can step out and make it.
Wow. We can all step out and make it. Women, we are fond of laying back and waiting for favors, for gifts, and probably from the men and our husbands. But in this generation, 21st century women are defined by what you possess, not what our grandmothers or our mothers were defined as. So we've come to the end of this show. Thank you for watching up until this time. We are always here at Coffee City in Ntinda, just right after INEB. Pass by, check it out. It is an amazing place. Until next time, I remain Mary Great Nachiganda.